Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today I'm going to be reacting to the most recent video by Nations called I Still Look Young. He already made a video a while back about looking young, so this is a sequel video to it. So I'm guessing people still don't think Bryson is as old as he actually is. So we'll see what's going on here. The link to the original video will be in the description below. Please like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get watching this. Back to the saloon.
One adult beverage, please.
Okay.
Hey, punk.
This guy again.
Bar's for adults only.
I remember this guy from that original video too. He didn't think that Bryson was an adult, and there was like this sword battle to the death, and he just like vaporized. So I wonder if something similar will happen this time around.
You gotta be at least 21 to consume alcoholic beverages.
Pretty sure he's older than that.
So hit the road.
Oh boy.
Actually, I'm 23.
Wow.
And here's my ID.
My mistake, little man. Here, have an alcohol.
Okay.
On the house.
Thank you.
What?
Oh my gosh. What do I do?
Ooh.
Hi.
I have got to go back and see that little reaction again.
On the house.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh my
boy.
gosh. What do I do?
Wow. I'll admit, when I first had alcohol back in the day, I didn't really particularly enjoy it, and even now I don't drink very many adult beverages very often. But I've never had like such a visceral reaction as to like puke or anything, let alone explode. Man, I just love how Bryson just represents all these things, how he animates them. They're just so fun to see.
Hi, I'm Bryson.
Hey, Bryson.
And my most popular video is about how I look young.
Wow,
but
impressive.
That was 3 years ago.
Cool.
A lot has happened since then, and let me tell you.
All right.
I still look young. The doctor said it's because of my genes, but
Okay.
I don't know what my pants have to do with any of this.
Okay, nice word play.
So today, we're gonna delve more into what it was like growing up as such a late bloomer.
All right, this is interesting. We get some more looking young stories from his past, and like I say, this little image right here is adorable and disturbing at the same time. I mean, look at this. This is so weird, and yet why is it so pleasing to look at the same time? It's just so weird. I like it.
It looks like you also have explosionitis.
What? I developed pretty normally at first, but
Okay.
I started to notice some differences when I went to middle school.
Okay.
The other boys started getting bigger and taller, but I stayed fun-sized, as my mom would call it.
Fun
I
size.
didn't really mind being a pipsqueak because it fit my vibe. I was the quiet kid who kept to himself and stayed under the radar drawing my silly little pictures.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have paused at a very potentially questionable time, but I think it's kind of good that, like, you know, your appearance kind of matches your vibe a bit. Imagine, like, trying not to get attention, but being unusually tall. I think that would be impossible. If you were, like, the introverted kid, but you were, like, 6 feet tall in middle school, that would be practically impossible just to stay under the radar. That just could not work. So, it looks like that being a late bloomer is working out in Bryson's favor for the time being.
The gap between me and the other boys only got worse as time went on.
That
and this
sucks.
caused people to make comments and poke fun at me.
Wrong place, small fry.
Oh,
the
come
elementary
on.
school is down the street. Get it? 'Cause he's small.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, pipsqueak.
Well, at least
That's like gotta be the worst when multiple people are messing with you, but what makes it more annoying is if they use the same insult. If you're gonna gang up on someone, which I don't approve of, but if you're gonna insult someone in group, at least come up with original insults. Otherwise, it just looks like you're being bullied by a bunch of parrots, you know, repeating the same thing. Brock, he's a pipsqueak. Brock, he's a pipsqueak. You know, really immature. Just try to come up with some original insults if you can. Even though I don't condone bullying, but you know what I mean.
I know what deodorant is, Derek.
Ooh!
I went through middle school and started high school without growing at all.
Wow.
I guess I'm just not like other boys. Most people just don't get me. With you, it's just simple.
Okay.
I'm glad we're friends. Sorry, who are you?
Okay, that was weird, that whole thing going on, but I can kind of get it in a weird way. I mean, if you're insecure about how you look when like all your peers are significantly taller and you're the same size as you were when you were in middle school, it's understandable why you can be a little awkward around people. But at the same time, from the other guy's perspective, I'm sure he's probably thinking like, what on earth is going on right now? Who is this kid? Awkward is no one's business.
16 years old, I was 5'2" and 80 pounds.
Wow.
I remember that because that's seriously the size I was for like 6 years. I was
Jeez.
definitely not an average teenage boy.
Wow, that is really short for your age. And I can't imagine being like that comparatively short for such a long period of time. For like 6 years? That's just, wow. I just can't imagine. I think I'm around average height. I've always been average height for my age. So I really can't relate to Bryson, but I can only imagine how much it must have sucked back in the day.
I was great at hide and seek.
Yeah?
However, I could not go outside if wind speeds were too high. So my parents took me to see a doctor.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's definitely underdeveloped. I feel bad for him because men like to feel like alpha males, and he obviously isn't.
Oh, come
I
on.
mean, look at him. So I'm going to recommend testosterone treatment.
really?
This was a shock to me. I knew I was
All right, that's kind of like, first of all, the whole alpha terminology, not really a fan of that. It just makes you seem like a real jerk. Like, I'm an alpha male, he's the beta male, yada yada yada. Who really talks like that? Who thinks it's okay to talk that? Especially when you're talking about a child. I know he's a teenager just when he's talking about this, but still, he's technically still a child. He's not an adult. So talking like that when you're a medical professional, not okay. But also, I didn't know they actually gave testosterone to like boost like growth development. I didn't even know, like, I knew that was a thing, like if you were like an older guy and you had like low testosterone. I didn't know they potentially gave it to teenagers if you weren't as tall as you're supposed to be. So this is news to me.
small, but I generally tried to just ignore it and live my life.
Cool.
I figured that being uncomfortable in your body was kind of just part of being a teenager, and
Yeah.
that everyone grows at different paces.
Definitely
but
true.
This medical professional told me that my body wasn't manly enough, and then
Okay.
immediately suggested TRT to a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
which
it's weird.
I think is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
He even got a
exactly.
bone scan done and found out that my bone age was that of a 12-year-old.
All right. Well, first of all, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that you could like have that your bones could technically have a different age than you are chronologically. I mean, I guess it makes sense because I've heard of studies where people like on a genetic or cellular level are younger than like how old they are in terms of like chronological years. I didn't know you could test specific parts of your body to do that, like your bones. So this is interesting. This is like, it seems like a good mix of educational and just entertainment. I like this.
Okay, here are the results of the scan. Travel home safely now.
Okay. Whoa.
This dude's bones suck! I mean, look at it! That's just shoddy workmanship.
All right, well, that was unexpected. Looks like in this flashback, Bryson could actually do a pretty good cosplay as a zombie, just having his limbs just falling off. Never thought I'd see that happen, but then again, this is a Haminations video. Pretty much anything's up for grabs at this point.
Right there.
We then met with an endocrinologist and
All right.
determined that I was healthy, just a late bloomer.
Cool.
He told me that I could choose to do the treatment or not, and I decided against it.
All right,
I'm
cool.
the type of guy to kind of just let things play out. I've never dyed my hair or gotten a tattoo or a piercing. I knew
Same
that this
here.
kind of intervention didn't feel like me, and that I was more of a default settings type of guy.
All right, I gotta agree with Bryson. Like, I think that unless you have like significant medical distress, like if you have, I think what's the proper term? Gender dysmorphia. I think it's the proper term where you just don't feel like your assigned sex at birth matches your preferred gender identity. It's understandable you might get some medical intervention, but I think if you just happen to be like a little small for your age or a little too thin or whatever, you should just try to embrace who you are and just not necessarily resort to medical intervention. You should just try your best to live your best life and just be happy with how you look unless there's like some legit medical concern. Then just be happy in your own skin as much as you can be.
So, despite people's comments, I did what I felt was right for me.
Cool.
And looking back, it was arguably the more manly thing to do.
Okay.
I was my own man who did what I thought was right, regardless of people disagreeing with me.
That sounds pretty good.
Bryson,
Just because they're called parachute pants doesn't mean they work like a parachute! Don't jump!
You can't tell me what to do. I'm my own man.
Oh.
Oh. But on a more serious note, the comments about how small I was and that I didn't look or sound my age definitely bothered me for a while.
Understandable.
And I felt pretty insecure about it.
Yeah.
Especially when I started high school. It's part of the reason I never had any personal social media accounts.
Okay,
but
cool.
around this time, I started my YouTube channel. It was
Wow.
all very new and exciting since I'd hardly used the internet before, except for watching funny dog videos. I made my first few videos and people were very nice, until they learned my age.
Okay.
And then it happened. My first
What?
hate comment. This guy is definitely lying about being 16.
That's gotta be the worst. I mean, I don't get comments very often on my videos. I do every now and again. But getting like really negative ones, that really kind of sucks. Because all you're trying to do if you're a YouTuber, you're just trying to entertain people. You're just trying to do what you enjoy, make people laugh, or whatever it is you have to do. Or make people think if you do something that's more like political, or you're more like a scientific YouTuber, or what have you. And yet you have jerkwads like this who don't believe you, or who just say horrible things about you. That's just gotta be the worst. So I can kind of understand what Bryson's going through.
He sounds 12.
Okay.
I kept getting
shut up.
comments like that until finally I responded with, I
What?
don't care if you believe me or not. I'm 16. Stop being rude.
Awesome.
And in that moment, I had a breakthrough. Wait a minute. If I truly didn't care, I wouldn't have felt the need to stoop to their level and respond. Maybe
Makes sense.
instead of projecting my issues in a futile online argument, I should be the best person I can be and only focus on what I can control. I can't please everyone, and
True.
no matter what I do, some people will disagree with me.
Alright, that is some mature stuff right there. We gotta give a lot of credit to Bryson, because let's be real, he was like 16 at the time, and people around that age, let's be real, teenagers aren't always the most mature people. Heck, even most adults aren't very mature a good chunk of the time. So the fact that he has enough cognitive sense to go like, wait a minute, I shouldn't stoop to their level, I should just focus on like what I can do, I can focus on like how I react to things, and I shouldn't, act like they want me to act. I shouldn't try to argue with them. That's some top tier maturity points right there.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it
A
is.
breakthrough that many people online still haven't discovered yet.
Yep.
I made my peace with it and accepted that I was just going to grow up differently than most boys.
Awesome.
And that's okay. And it wasn't long before I did start growing.
Cool.
A few years later, I met up with one of my friends who I hadn't seen in a long time, and he was shocked that my plateau at 5'2" was finally over and I had shot past it to around 5'8".
That's
He hung
cool.
out and ate dinner, and he said, so what did they do to you to
What?
make you grow? Nothing. We just waited. Did you think they put me in the Captain America
Alright, that's kind of a weird question to ask, and just have the mindset that there's no way this growth spurt could have happened by itself. There had to be some type of medical intervention. I mean, it's kind of understandable, like, if you haven't seen anyone for a while, and all of a sudden they're just radically different than how you remember them. It's kind of understandable. At the same time, it's kind of rude. Don't just assume they don't have the innate potential to be tall, okay? That's just kind of rude, to be honest.
super soldier device? Yes. And while I still look younger than I am, as the years passed, something amazing happened.
What?
I'm tall now.
Okay, cool.
And while this doesn't fix the problem area, it's been a nice consolation prize for suffering through school as the short kid. The
All right,
slower
makes
you
sense.
bake, the farther you rise. What can I say? I am the tallest of my siblings, standing at a whopping, drum roll please, 6'2".
Wow.
Please hold your applause.
Wow, 6'2". Okay, so he's even taller than I thought he was. That's impressive. I swear, he's like reaching potentially like NBA territory right now. I mean, I don't know the average height of someone who's like a professional basketball player, but if he wasn't doing YouTube videos, he could potentially be in the NBA. I don't know how good he is at sports, but the potential's there.
However, I am afraid that my theory about baking slower and rising farther will turn out all too true. Because my little brother Brenner is finally starting to shoot up, and he might catch up to me. And
Okay.
I don't like that, because
Why?
he's the little brother. I just want to grab him and squish him back down to size so I can keep
Come
my
on.
crown. It was cool when I surpassed all my older siblings, but him doing it would be cringe and stupid, so
Really, Bryson? You're gonna be threatened by your own younger brother's potential height? You don't even know if he'll surpass you or how tall he'll be. For all you know, he could potentially be the shortest of all your siblings, even to adulthood. So take it easy with the potential jealousy. Calm down.
I'm not gonna allow it to happen.
What? Oh, jeez.
There, fixed.
Oh, that's just messed up.
Despite my cartoonish proportions, I'm glad I waited and let things take their natural course.
Awesome.
And I'm also glad I waited because I stayed natty. One of the disadvantages of long legs is doing squats in the gym absolutely sucks.
I can
I
imagine.
have to move the weight much farther than the average person just to get to the proper depth.
Yeah.
I was at the gym with my friend that's much shorter than me, and her set of squats was like, okay, I'm done. And then mine were like, oh my God!
Ooh. All right, yeah, that sounds really painful. I mean, I personally can't relate because I'm like around average height. So squats just feel like squats to me. I can only really imagine how much more difficult it is for someone who's unusually tall. So yeah, just making all that motion and with the extra weight added to your back, I can't imagine that feels enjoyable by any stretch of the imagination.
That's one. You gotta do 12.
Oh.
But being me comes with advantages too.
Okay.
Since I grew so slowly, everything was more spread out. So
All right.
I never had growing pains or terrible acne.
Cool.
And as every person who's ever met me has already pointed out, it'll work out when you're older because you'll be 50, but you'll look way younger. Which I
Yeah.
hope is true. What if I never look my age?
Wow.
I just look like this until I'm 45 and then boom, I'm an old man.
That would be such a terrible thing to happen. Yeah, you look young up until a certain point, then you just almost age overnight. I mean, that sounds messed up because you're used to everything working fine. You're used to looking a certain way, then just instantaneous aging. I wonder if that's actually a thing. I wonder if some people just reach a certain point where they just like seemingly age a lot faster after looking young for so long. Let me know if you know anyone who has like experienced that, anyone who's looked young for a majority of their lives, but then just seemingly turned old after a couple of years. Let me know. How did they respond to it? How did they deal with it?
Another advantage of looking young I've discovered since living on my own
What is it?
is that I can get door-to-door salesmen to leave me alone much faster.
Okay.
Hello, young man. Are your parents home? No, they are not. I do love to make fun of Braden because when we're sitting next to each other, he's taller than me. But
Alright.
when we stand up, I shoot past him. Imagine your younger sibling being taller than you.
Yeah, that would, I guess in a weird way, that would be kind of embarrassing. I mean, Mario has to deal with that all the time with Luigi. So, I mean, I'm the older sibling and I'm taller than my sister, so I can't really relate. But I'm sure someone out there does have a younger sibling who's taller than them. I can kind of get why you feel insecure, yet at the same time, who freaking cares? It's just your height. In the grand scheme of things, does that really matter to like who you are as a person or how successful you are? Probably not. So just, take it in stride if you happen to have like tall, younger siblings and just live your best life.
That's embarrassing. Wait,
Oh, no.
wait, no. And I think it's funny that being tall is associated with doing sports.
True,
Wow,
yeah.
how's the weather up there? Let
Hey.
me guess. Basketball player?
No, I draw pictures. Leave me alone.
It is true. It's kind of like what I was saying earlier. Yeah, like being tall, you're typically associated with like basketball and stuff, but that's not always a guaranteed thing. I'm sure there are plenty of tall people out there who don't give a crap about sports at all, who are more like Bryson, more introverted and more based on things like, more interested in things like technology and drawing and things like that. So don't assume someone's interest based on how tall they are, okay? That's just kind of rude.
The day I turned 21, I decided to do the rite of passage of going into a bar.
Okay.
I walked up to the bouncer, gave them my ID, and watched his brain break.
Not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
No!
That's such a funny way to animate that. And in a weird way, I can kind of relate to this particular story. It's not exactly the same, but here's what happened. I remember when I was 30 years old, I walked up to my local gas station just to buy a lottery ticket, just for the fun of it. Didn't actually win anything. Anyways, I walk up to the counter, ask for a ticket. The girl behind the counter asked to see my ID because she didn't think I was 18. She thought I was too young to buy a lottery ticket, even though I was more than old enough. And she was just like, wait, what? Wow, you don't look that old. So I can kind of understand this particular situation.
They let me in, and I tried a non-alcoholic beer.
Okay.
Bryson, why didn't you just try a real beer?
Because I'm stupid sober. I don't want to know how stupid I am while drunk.
You know, that is a valid point. If Bryson come with all these wacky video ideas while he's in a sober state of mind, I can only imagine how much potentially more nonsensical yet entertaining an inebriated Bryson could be. That would be a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Also, people say that when you're drunk, that it's like you, but more.
Okay.
But I'm already too much. That would be way too much.
Yeah, probably.
Hey guys, I love you guys.
Oh man.
Does anyone want to build a Lego set together? I'm leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is like that. I've never really been like drunk. I've been buzzed, and I was already a little bit more relaxed and, just more chill with people. I've never been to the point of like being like obnoxious or puking everywhere. I've never reached that point, and I hope I never do. Anyone out there who likes to drink on a regular basis, please control yourself, okay? Don't get so intoxicated that you make a complete idiot of yourself or you put yourself or others in dangerous situations. Keep it under control.
Anyway, the non-alcoholic beer tasted like yeasty, soggy bread water.
Okay.
0 out of 10. But the wings were good.
Nice.
Then this guy, who could tell it was my first time in a bar, came up to me and said,
Welcome to bar life, son.
and I said, thank you. I am never coming back.
Oh,
and
jeez.
even at 23 years old, I'm still growing.
All right.
I wasn't 6'2" until this year.
Wow.
Who knows? Maybe I'll never stop and I'll be 10 feet tall at age 30.
Wow.
As time goes on, people freak out less about how young I look.
That's at least a positive thing. At least that people are getting more used to it. Probably because of the fact that more people know Bryson now. He's famous. Like, he has millions of subscribers. When he was just starting out as a YouTuber, very few people knew who he was. So it's understandable they freak out when they learned about his age. But now that more people know, they're not going to freak out as much. So that's nice.
But it does still happen from time to time.
Oh,
How
man.
old are you? You look 15.
I'm actually 23.
Chill, officer.
But my height isn't the only thing that's 6'2". My wingspan is also 6'2",
Okay.
so my slap range is pretty good.
Cool.
I don't usually slap people, but
Come on. Usually.
I could. Not to
There we go. It wouldn't be a Hammer Nations video without a little bit of violence. I mean, we already saw some violence with the dismembered arm and stuff, but nothing just beats some good old-fashioned physical comedy. We love to see it.
mention the range of my kicks.
Wow,
That's my
yeah.
plan for if I'm ever getting robbed. Oh, certainly, sir. I'll give you my wallet. Whatcha?
Ooh, boy. The Matrix style,
If I
nice.
hug my leg, my knee is higher than my shoulders.
Wow.
Meaning that my femur is longer than my entire torso.
Wow.
I've got a tiny body and long legs.
All right, so he's like a reverse dachshund. We've all seen dachshund, little wiener dogs, long body, short legs. This guy has the opposite configuration. Long legs, short body. Funny thing to see.
But it's fine. Legs are probably more vital to the human body than the torso. Look,
What?
see, here we've got the, leggy parts. And of course,
Leggy
the foot,
parts.
Very vital. And meanwhile, the torso only has the heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys. It's totally overrated.
Why did I pause at the potentially most amusing frame? Look at this. It's just literally a head with legs. That's funny. I love how, he was joking about it, the torso being overrated. Obviously, it's not overrated. It has, all your vital organs, except for, your brain. But yeah, I can understand why in his case it would make sense, because like he is mostly legs. But yeah, just don't take your torso for granted, kids, okay? You know, be smart. Remember, all your vital stuff is there. Just be safe, all right?
Legs are better and more important. Case closed. I'm glad I didn't try to change myself just to fit in, because
Cool.
it helped me learn to love myself unconditionally.
That's
and it
nice.
helped me find the people who appreciate me for who I was.
You know, that is a vital lesson to learn right there. You should never really change yourself to get other people's approval. You should always just try to find people who accept you as you authentically are. Trying to change yourself to make other people happy only ends up making you miserable. And even if it works for a short time, eventually they're going to find out you're a fake and then drop you like a hot potato. No one likes a fake. It's better just to be authentic, even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it doesn't make you fit in immediately. Just be yourself, and things will typically work out much better in the long run.
As time goes on, I've discovered that the things that make me unique are the things that I love most about myself.
That's awesome.
The moral of the story is to remember that your differences make you unique, and you
Yeah.
can use them to your advantage.
Yep.
Maybe you'll use your differences to make a funny YouTube video as a random, non-specific example. And it's okay to feel awkward while growing up.
Definitely.
I am so glad that I valleyed in high school instead of peaking. Don't be just like everyone else.
Awesome.
Be the best you that you can be.
I gotta say it again, that's such an excellent message. I mean, why deny who you really are? Just enjoy yourself as you are and just enjoy your unique differences. Can you imagine a world where like most people or nearly everyone was largely the same? That would be one boring world to live in right there. Differences are what make people great, in my opinion. So just try to appreciate your differences and try to just live your best life. All right. That explains it.
Huh? What happened? Oh, me. You also maxed out his silliness stat.
Wow.
It's probably fine. Hi, guys.
Well, guys, that was another video by Nations. Great video. Love the message. Love the humor and the backstory that we got with Bryson looking young while growing up. And I agree with what he's saying. You just got to embrace your differences and don't change yourself to make people happy. Just be yourself, enjoy how unique you are, and just try to live your best life. So, great video. If you have any other recommendations for Nations reactions, let me know in the comments. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.